If this is your first time on our channel, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this story with up to 10 friends to support us and help bring more beautiful stories your way. Thank you. Story title, Letters from Maple Street, A True American Love Story. The House on Maple Street. In the quiet town of Willows Creek, tucked between golden hills and oak trees, lived a young woman named Elena Grace, a schoolteacher who had just moved into a small house on Maple Street. The house had charm, creaky floors, wide windows, and an old mailbox still clinging to the porch. One rainy afternoon, while organizing the attic, Elena stumbled upon a shoebox filled with old love letters, each addressed to someone named Claire, and signed simply, "Forever yours, Michael." The ink was faded, the paper yellowed, but the love in the words was alive, raw, deep, and unshakable. That night, Elena sat by the fire, reading letter after letter. She couldn't stop. It felt like she was reading someone's soul, someone who had loved so hard it hurt. But who were Claire and Michael? And why were these letters hidden? The mystery of Michael and Claire. Driven by curiosity and emotion, Elena visited the local library, asking the elderly librarian, Mrs. Perkins, about Claire. The librarian's eyes softened. Claire lived here during the 60s. She was in love with a boy named Michael Jensen. He went off to war, and never came back. She waited. Every day. Elena's heart sank. The letters weren't just love notes. They were Michael's hope of returning, of building a life with Claire that never came to be. Elena felt a tear slip down her cheek. She had to find Claire, if she was still alive. Finding Claire. After weeks of searching, Elena found Claire, now 81, living in a nearby retirement home. She brought the box of letters with her. Claire's hands trembled as she opened the box. Her eyes filled with tears. "I thought these were lost forever," Claire whispered. "Michael, he wrote every week. I kept them all, but when I moved, they disappeared. I thought maybe it was the world telling me to move on." Elena stayed with Claire for hours that day, listening to her talk about Michael, the dreams they had, and the silence that followed his disappearance. The letter that was never sent. One letter, however, stood out. It was dated July 4, 1969, but unlike the others, this one wasn't addressed to Claire. It was addressed to my son. It was Michael's final letter. "If I don't come back, know that you were born of love, even if I never get to hold you." Elena looked at Claire in shock. Claire nodded slowly. "I was pregnant when he left. I never told anyone. I gave the baby up for adoption. I was just 19. Tears streamed down her face. He never knew. The lesson in love. Over the next few months, Elena helped Claire search for the child she had given up. And one spring day, standing under the maple tree in her front yard, Elena watched as a man in his 50s, Tom Jensen, walked toward Claire with the same green eyes as Michael. They hugged. No words needed. Just love, real, messy, beautiful love that time had buried, but never broken. Part 2, the second chapter of love. The reunion that changed everything. After 5 decades of silence, Claire and Tom, her long-lost son, stood beneath the blooming maple tree, speechless. Claire's frail hands touched Tom's face gently, memorizing the lines time had drawn on her son. For a moment, it felt like time folded, and Michael was there too, through Tom. Tom spoke softly, "I always felt like a part of me was missing, like I was waiting for someone I never met." Claire cried openly. "You were waiting for me, and I was waiting for you." They spent hours talking that day. About Michael, about Claire's life, and the reasons behind her painful choice to let Tom go. There was no judgment in Tom's eyes, only longing and understanding. A teacher's heart. Elena, who had brought this miracle into motion, watched from the porch. She had come to Willows Creek looking for a quiet life, but instead, she had become part of a story greater than her own. But life wasn't done with Elena yet. Tom, now a widowed father of one, began stopping by Claire's house more often. Sometimes to help her. Sometimes just to sit under the maple tree and read his father's letters. Elena and Tom would talk about love, time, regrets, and fate. There was something unspoken growing between them. Michael's final gift. Weeks later, while helping Claire organize her drawers, Tom found a tiny, velvet box. Inside it was an old engagement ring, with a note. "Claire, if I make it back, this is yours. If I don't, give it to our child. Let him know he was born from the purest love." Claire placed the ring in Tom's hand. "He wanted you to have this." Tom smiled. "Maybe someday, I'll pass it to someone else. Someone I love the way he loved you." Their eyes drifted to Elena, standing near the window, smiling gently. A new beginning under the same tree. The seasons changed. Claire's health gently declined, but her heart was finally at peace. Tom and Elena, slowly and naturally, fell into love, not the kind that rushes, but the kind that heals. It wasn't perfect. It had baggage, memories, and grief. But it was real. One crisp autumn evening, under the golden leaves of the maple tree, Tom knelt down, holding Michael's ring. "Elena," he said, "this ring was meant for a love built on letters and hope. I want to continue that story, with you." Tears in her eyes, Elena nodded. "Let's write the rest together." The new lesson. Sometimes, love doesn't come in the form we expect. It may arrive late. It may come through pain. But if we open our hearts, it can become a bridge, not just between people, but between generations. The past doesn't always have to haunt us. It can heal us, if we let it. Part 3, The Last Letter. Winter came to Willows Creek with a soft silence, snow gently blanketing Maple Street like a memory waiting to be preserved. Claire, now 82, spent her days in the sunroom of Elena's house, sipping tea, holding Tom's hand, and smiling more than she had in decades. One quiet morning, Claire called Elena and Tom to her side. "I want to show you something," she said, holding out a sealed envelope. "I never opened this one. It arrived after they told me Michael was gone. I couldn't bear it then. But I think it's time." Together, they opened it. Michael's final letter. "My dearest Claire. If you're reading this, I didn't make it home. But I don't want you to cry. I want you to live. I want you to laugh so loud the trees echo with joy. And if we ever had a child, love him. Tell him I loved him, even if I never met him. And Claire, don't lock your heart away. Please don't grow old alone. Love again. Find someone who will cherish you like I do. My love for you isn't locked in time, it's eternal, and it will live in every choice you make from here on. Goodbye, my forever. Michael." The room was silent, the kind of silence where love speaks louder than words. Claire wiped her tears and smiled. "I waited my whole life to feel this kind of peace," she whispered. Saying goodbye, gaining forever. Claire passed peacefully 2 months later, holding the letter in her hands, her heart finally full. At her funeral, people didn't mourn a lonely old woman. They celebrated a life of love, strength, and finally, completion. Tom and Elena honored her last wish by planting a second maple tree next to the first, symbolizing the two great loves that shaped her life, Michael, her first, and the family she was reunited with. A new chapter begins. A year later, under the shade of those two trees, Tom and Elena were married in a simple, heartfelt ceremony. Elena wore a small silver locket holding Michael's final letter, and Tom slipped Michael's ring onto her finger, bridging the past and present with love. They made a new home in the same house on Maple Street, filling it with books, laughter, and one day, the cry of a newborn baby boy, whom they named Michael James. Final lesson. Love doesn't end. It changes form. It passes from letter to hand, from memory to heartbeat. Michael and Claire's love wasn't lost. It became the foundation for something new, a legacy of healing, hope, and new beginnings. Because love, when true, outlives time. Thank you for listening to this emotional journey. If this story touched your heart, please subscribe, like, and share it with your friends. And remember, every end can be a beautiful beginning.